As we continue to wait out this football silence, I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to give you my final outcomes across the divisions. I'm going to start with the Premier League. Who's going to come out on top and who's going down to the Championship? Let's go. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. This time we'll take a look at the Premier League as a whole, and we'll get to it in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Premier League related, Blackburn Rovers related, World Football related. Here. Under one Rovski now. So hopefully behind me you'll be able to see So hopefully behind me are the final few results of the Premier League coming at you. I've predicted all of them, every single one of them, and I've come to an outcome as to see who's going down to the Championship and who will be in the Champions League spot. So without further ado, let's get into it. So here we are, boys and girls, into the Vortex here, and we're going to go through them one by one and to see where all the teams are. We're going to start with the bottom place. Now on the right hand side is their current position, and on the left hand side is just about where I think they'll end up this season. We're going to start with number 20th spot. So currently, that is Norwich. Now, after I've done all my mathematics, where have they ended up at the end of the season? Obviously, they come up last time out in the Championship. For me, I've got them coming up at 19th. They are going to go down with a bit of a fight, but ultimately, they are going to be back playing Championship football next season, probably against Blackburn Rovers, but we'll have to wait and see about that. You just don't know. Next up, into 19th spot, that currently sits Aston Villa. That's right, Aston Villa, I should say. They are 19th at the moment. Where they're going to end up this season, for me, I see them going down a spot into 20th spot, bottom of the table. Goodness gracious me, the likes of Grealish and co. I'm sure they'll be playing Premier League football next season, but with another club. It ain't going to be Aston Villa. So unfortunately, they are going to the Championship in my eyes. So on the as we continue to join, who's going to be joining them in 18th spot? We currently have. Who's in 18th spot? It's AFC Bournemouth. Now, I'll save you a bit of angst there, Bournemouth fans. They're going to survive. Yes, they are. And joining them in the relegation spot, Norwich, Aston Villa, will be. Well, I'll tell you who it'll be in a minute. But Bournemouth actually finished 16th in the table. We'll get to that final spot. In fact, I might have a little bit of wait because this is a bit of a surprise. Currently sits 17th spot in the Premier League. Will be at Watford. That's right. They're doing absolute bits, and I think they're going to hang on by the skin of their teeth and survive in the Premier League this season. They're going to be in 17th spot, so they'll have some lastminute.com celebration. So we still don't know who else is going down. Next up into 16th spot currently sits West Ham United. Now, I like West Ham. They've got some good quality players. I'm not too sure about the manager. I don't think Moyes is the man. They brought him in for a second crack at it. Obviously, they've had a difficult run in up until now, until this point in the season where we wait and see what's going on. But I think the games start to ease up a little bit. They'll be all right. I've got them finishing as high as 14th in the old division at the end of the season. Concluding that into 15th spot, we do have Brighton and Hove Albion. And this is the riddle solved here, folks. I think Brighton's end of the season is a little bit trickier than most. They're going to go down. That's right. You're going to join the likes of Norwich and Aston Villa. Potter's boys, despite having some really good players, the likes of Aaron Moy, Neil Mopey, some really good defenders as well. I just think they're going to go down. I think their end of the season is a little bit too tough for them bad boys to hang on. So now it's the riddle of who will be in the Europa League spots and the Champions League spots. We'll get to them in a minute. Into 14th spot, I have Southampton. Yep, they've been okay. Decent player, decent team. But they'll fall down a spot before the end of the season, finishing in 15th spot. Quite comfortably in the end, though. So into the top 13 now. Unlucky for some. Number 13, who will it be? Well, currently it's Newcastle United. Are they going to stay where they are? I think I have them pretty much as on point at the moment. So they will be 13th spot at the end of the season, and once you add up all the maths and add all the results together, so Newcastle will end up in 13th spot. Into 12th spot we go. It is Everton. That's what they are. They were flying high. They were doing so well. They've had a recent few bad results which are going to go against them, and in that regard, I think are they going to be there or thereabouts? They're going to go up one spot to 11th, which unfortunately I did have higher expectations for them when Ancelotti came in. I thought they'd be all right and maybe even push for Europa League spots, but I think if they can finish in the top 10 or there or thereabouts and build for next season, you know what, Everton could be on for something. They've got some really good players. You know, Calvert-Lewin's scoring goals. They haven't seen the best of Rick Carlson or Gylfi Sigurdsson this season, goals wise, and I think that will change next season once they have a bit more time to work the Ancelotti way. Into the 11th spot now, we have Crystal Palace. They've done okay for themselves as well. Obviously, Roy Hodgson on a rolling contract. He's obviously a man who's been there and done it around the world, not just in England. I see them dropping just down one spot to 12th, but they'll be all right. Mid-table, it is very jam-packed in that middle of the table, so anything could happen. And unfortunately, anything will happen for Burnley in 10th spot at the moment. Where are they going to end up? Well, in fact, they could argue for a place in the Europa League, but I think they're going to be around about where they are, 10th spot, which hurts me to say. Obviously, when I can see them go down to the Championship and beyond, maybe even to the National League, I just can't stand seeing them doing so well. I think as long as Sean Dyche is there, they're going to be a Premier League side. It's just like the Sam Allardyce effect. Once you get rid of a core manager like that, shit hits the fan and you go down. But they're doing great, and I don't think there's any reason to change. Why would you change? Into the top 10, we have Arsenal in 9th spot. I think they'll do much better than this, and they'll probably squeeze into European spots, but I don't think they're going to go into the Champions League. Not via this anyway. They'll have to do it the hard way through the Europa League. I see them flying high up to 7th in the table. Obviously, with Manchester City's ban, that might open up a Europa League spot for so far down the table. You just have to wait and see. But again, they do have the Europa League, and a win there could see them squeeze into the Champions League through the cheeky back door. Next up, we have 8th place Spurs. And again, obviously, they're going to be looking for those top 4 spots. They've kind of gone off the wayside a little bit. But this wilderness, this quiet time has given the chance for some of the strikers, some of the attacking players at Tottenham to get themselves fit and ready. So Harry Kane might be back for the conclusion of the season. That would be a big old boost. But I see him only getting up to 6th spot in the table, so the top 5 is a bit of a question mark at the moment. But Spurs rising a couple of spots, and again, you never know, they might squeeze another win to get into the top 5 spots and squeeze into the Champions League spot. That'll be a big old boost for Mourinho and co. Excuse me. Next up into 7th spot, currently, who do we have? We have Sheffield United. Now, they've had a phenomenal season, and they're knocking on the door right now of Champions League football, but I think that's going to drop off a little bit. They're going to finish in the top 10. They can't argue with that, really. Obviously, they're electric, and they're flying high, and the fans are not ruling anything out, but I think they're going to finish around about 9th at the end of the season. You can't complain about that, boys. Top 10 on your return to the Premier League. You just make it difficult for other teams to beat you. So yeah, fair dues. Let's not turn your nose up at that. Into the top 6 we go. Wolves currently they are 6th spot at the moment, but I do expect them to drop a couple spots back down to 8th. Again, they're in the Europa League and they're doing very well in the Europa League. So I do expect them to be there or thereabouts. So in my eyes, the final 5 will be the final 5, but just what order will they be? Obviously, Man United look a decent unit with Fernandes now pulling the strings in the middle of the park. Agallo scoring goals. Again, they're with this hold on the Premier League and football as a whole, it's given a chance for Man United players to come back into full health. And, the likes of Rashford may get some more game time before the season wraps up. So, United are competing. I have them, they're currently in 5th spot, but I do see them rising into those the official Champions League spots. So the top 5 are the Champions League spots because of Manchester City's ban, but you never know, they might get that overturned, and then that 5th spot will become a Europa League spot. So anyone's in the top 5 now, besides Manchester City, are going to be in the Champions League. So that's a big boost for Manchester United. It's a big boost for Chelsea. Obviously, Leicester are yet to be revealed as well. They've been one of the surprise packages as well. So Man United, big boost for them into 4th spot. Currently, 4th spot it is Chelsea. I actually do see them dropping down 1 spot into 5th spot. Obviously, I was expecting after Chelsea's transfer ban was lifted, them to strengthen the side. They didn't really. I don't think they did they? I don't think see them bring anybody else in. They're relying heavily on their youth, and their youth have stood up to the count. Reece James has done good at the back. Mason Mount, obviously Tammy Abraham, plus various other youngsters. Obviously, the keeper scenario is something that needs to be addressed in the summer for them to make a step forward. Either sell him or sort him out, because Kepa he's a big turd. That's what he is. He's a big old moaning turd, and he's gone down in my eyes big time ever since that old fallout with Sarri and it was at the League Cup semis or the League Cup final, whatever it was. What a little turd head he was. Anyway, so they finished 5th in my eyes. So really, it's the 3 for 3. I think it's going to be as you are, really, or as it is. In 3rd spot, I do have Leicester City. They're kind of gone up backwards a little bit stagnant. I think this break has come at the right time. Obviously, we all don't want this break to be here, but for Leicester, I think it's going to give them the world of good. Maybe recharge the batteries and hopefully come out at the end of it a little bit stronger and keep up the pace with Manchester City. I do see them just maintaining their spot, treading water. And you know what? Again, Champions League spots for them. that is an absolute win-win for them. They are overjoyed for that, going back into the Champions League. After a couple of years break, obviously they did win the title a couple of years back, and then they experienced Champions League again. But this, maybe they can make a habit of it. So second spot, it is going to be Manchester City, and the number one spot will be Liverpool. So I'm not gonna spin a dit on you there. I'm just going to let you roll in with it. So that will be my final Premier League season, Premier League table on the left-hand side. So the main surprises there: Villa going down, Norwich and Brighton are going down. The likes of Watford hanging in there, and of course Sheffield United doing bits into the top 9. Leicester in the old Champions League spots. But that, my friends, is what I've got for you. Hopefully you enjoyed this little insight into what I think will happen in the Premier League, and we'll do it all again for the Championship tomorrow. So make sure you check that sucker out, and we'll do all the rest of the English leagues before we switch our focus across Europe. So yeah, as we continue to wait out this bad boy, be sure to give this video some loving, smash the old thumbs up, and of course smash the subscribe if you're new. New videos every single day. You know what? If there's no football going on, we can still talk about it, can't we? We can still get excited about it as well. I'm going to be looking to do some more videos across the channel as well. It might be a little bit off topic, but we've still got football at its core. Anyway, until then, be sure to check out the old description. Links to my other social media platforms are in the Twitter, Facebook, and of course Patreon if you want to become patrons of the channel and join the VIP exclusive 10. That's right. Get stuck in. And a big shout out to those guys. What do we have? We have Aztec, Marky B. Mark, Daniel Meller, Constable 1976, Mitchell Schoen, Tom Beresford, Tom Clark, Cody Cahoe, Russell Frost, and of course No Code Drinker. Big shout out to the old patrons. Respect to my brothers for supporting the channel at this awkward time. I'll see you all tomorrow. Until then, we're out. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.